Thinking it might be time to hire an influencer marketing agency instead of doing the work in-house? Well, I have 7 signs to help you evaluate that decision. So let's start with number 1. You're going to have to find and vet all these influencers. Now, finding influencers is really not that hard these days. There's lots of databases out there where you can find influencers. Some are good, some are not so good. But really the challenge is vetting them. Who's the right influencer for you and your campaign? Is their audience going to match the audience you're going after? Is the way they write about brands going to match the way you want to be written about? And finally, is the individual content they're capable of creating going to align with your particular program? That's a lot of work that really dictates whether you've gotten your campaign right or wrong. That's something you're going to either need to do in-house or outsource to an influencer marketing agency. Number 2, if you're not excited about negotiating contracts, you might want to use an influencer marketing agency. Each and every influencer assignment needs its own contract. It needs to be signed by both parties, and it needs to include things like content rights. Do you have the right to use this content going forward? Is it in perpetuity? Is it in any form or fashion? That all has to be negotiated up front. You're going to have to work out your contracts each and every time. Number 3 is the actual influencer management, and this is not a short piece of work. Over time, you're going to want to use the same influencers again and again, the ones who are really working for you, and so there's a relationship building component that you need to make sure it's not just transactional. You're also going to want to make sure everybody hits their deadlines. You have 10 or 20 influencers going at a given time. Is everyone posting when they're supposed to, what they're supposed to, and is everything they're posting aligning with FTC compliance and with your brand brief? That's something you're either going to have to staff up to do in-house or outsource to your influencer marketing agency. Number 4, you have to pay these people. Influencers don't work for free anymore. So paying people involves setting them up in your payroll system or your vendor system, cutting them checks, sending them 1099 forms at the end of every year that everyone's going to need their tax forms, and perhaps most importantly, knowing what to pay. Is this assignment worth $250, $5,000? How do you know based on what the industry standards are, the norms are, what you're asking? You could end up overpaying or end up getting no response if you're drastically underpaying. So you're going to have to figure out those payment systems either in-house or with your agency. Number 5 can't be overlooked. It's content strategy. Who on your team is figuring out the content strategy? And there's a front end component of this and a back end component of this. On the front end, you're going to want to know what kind of content is going to work, what kind of content is going to resonate, both theme-wise and on what platforms you're going to want that content. But then on the back end, you need a strategy for what you're going to do with this content. Beyond the influencers sharing it, are you going to share it on your channels? Is there a boosting play involved? What's the content strategy? Do you have someone on your team who can do that thinking and execution in-house? Great. If not, you may want to consider an influencer marketing agency. Number 6 is metrics. You're going to need to know how things did. So measurement is one thing. How many engagements did we get? Do you know how to count all those sort of things? How many impressions did we get? But then really metrics and insights. What performance benchmarks matter? Are we doing better than we thought we would? Better than the industry? Are we doing worse? Which piece of content is performing better than the others? Which influencers are performing better than the others? So you need some numeric capabilities in-house as well to know who you should hire next time and which piece of content should get used again. All those sort of things need to be built into a metric structure. Consider if you have that capability in-house or not. And 7th and last is experts who've done this a lot are always going to know things that people who do this on a side job are not going to know. So we've run over 120, 125 of these campaigns in the last couple of years. We've learned things about what works in this situation and what doesn't work in that situation. You can avoid some of those mistakes by going with an expert. If you have lots of experience in-house, that's a wonderful thing. Otherwise, again, you might consider outsourcing it. So those are our 7 signs that you might need an influencer marketing agency. If you do, I hope you'll consider Carusele. We're at carusele.com. Reach out anytime. I'm Jim Tobin. We'll see you again soon on The Spin.